This is also ongoing research. So we have the co-authors, Professor Wilhelm and Mr. Erdenechuluun. So the title of the paper is Improving Export-Oriented Agricultural Production Possibilities and Remote Rural Mongolian Growers. Content of the paper, so I will go rather quickly on this. So objective of the paper is to identify and review rural areas which are potential to have export products, and also the potential to develop export-oriented production. So as I mentioned, this is ongoing research. So I will present the beginning first part of the project, first part of the research. So I will go through the first analysis on identifying potential products to export from rural areas. So later stage we will identify also the rural areas. So each province, each village has its own advantages in terms of the product export. So that will be not present today, but will follow in later stage of the paper. So although the paper called the agricultural sector, we are laying on only livestock sector, because most of the potentially export-oriented products are based on the livestock sector, so we exclude the growth sector. So the framework, our objective is the livestock sector, subsector of Mongolia. So we assume that if we improve the export of the livestock sector, that will support the sustainability of the sector and sustainability of the country. So it includes the three parts. So the economic part. So we mainly consider the increasing income, increase of the sectoral gross domestic production, and also increasing income of the working households. So this presentation will mainly cover on this part. And second part is the environmental issue. So there we will include the carrying capacity of the rangeland. And last part is about the social part, includes the social security service and also cultural issues. So these three aspects are interlinked between each other, so which will be connected with the export of most of products. So just very brief about the sector, because this morning we listened to a very nice detailed presentation about the livestock sector. So this is the number we got from 2017. So nearly 10% of GDP is produced in the livestock sector, and nearly 30% are working in that sector. And most of our land belongs to the agricultural land, especially rangeland. So 74% is agricultural land, so almost 70% comes from rangeland, which belong to the livestock sector. And here we illustrate the livestock number in production. Livestock numbers increasing since 2000 to 2017, and some sharp decline in between as a course of the natural disaster called Zot, that also mentioned during this morning. For instance, between 2009 and 2010, the livestock sector production is increasing. So density, so main livestock is located close to the central region, these big dots. So they are where the main market exists. So there were big migration, rural to urban migration, beginning of the 1990 till the end of the 1990, because they are seeking the market and also better place to sell their products. So this figure shows the places where we are exporting our agricultural products in the worldwide. Major trade partners, our south neighbor country, People's Republic of China and Russia and other countries. So major export product is Kashmir. Here, Kashmir is the main export product in quite several decades after mining sector. So after the Kashmir in last 4 or 5 years, meat exports increasing. So you can see here, major meat exports are horse meat, beef, sheep and goat meat. So during last 4 or 5 years, horse meat are increasing because main reason is because the horse are not influenced by the major alien disease, so-called foot and mouth and other diseases. That's why we can able to export horse meat more. But for other beef and sheep, goat meat, they are actually the high demand from the neighboring countries. The problem is the animal disease. The occurrence of animal disease increased during last 4 years. So this is one of the big problem for our country to increase the export of animal-oriented, livestock-oriented products. So in this paper, we just use the simple method of the RCA index. Maybe all of you are familiar with this, related comparative advantage. So using this index, we try to identify what type of the products or livestock products are competitive in the world market. So the index is 2021 means that we have a comparative advantage of that product. So some results and discussion. Besides this RCA index, we also do some qualitative methods, doing literature review and review of the existing ongoing projects. So as we mentioned before, the number of livestock is increasing, but there are problems in terms of the natural park carrying capacity is exceeded. Although the livestock's main livelihood source of the working households, but on the other hand, that has to limit by the carrying capacity of the rangeland. So this is the kind of the research causality between these two factors. And also the herd composition is changing. As we've seen that the Kashmir's main cash product, so herders willing to increase the number of goats. So this is changing the herd composition. On the other hand, goat is more harmful for the rangeland and other types of animals. And the majority of livestock is located in the central region, near the big cities like Ulaanbaatar, Tarim, and Hilton. So they are trying to stay closer to the central market. So which means in this central region, current capacity is also exceeding quite larger percentage. That impacts the rangeland degradation and overgrazing and many other. These things are already mentioned in the morning session, but I will repeat shortly. So although number of livestock is increasing, the productivity is increasing. In certain part, the productivity is decreasing. I would add also one thing here, because there is also the number of livestock is increasing. But if you see the distribution of the livestock, almost 70% of the working households having less than 200 or 250, right? 250 livestock, number of livestock. So which means, according to the other researchers study, the 250 livestock is just the threshold for in terms of the livelihood, living standard. So which means that nearly 60% are living below the living standard, if you think about the economic point of view. So only 25 or 30% are above the subsistence level. And another case is the value add of the livestock. So most of the livestock-oriented products are selling without processing, just as a raw material, so really low price. So then even most of the products are unused. For instance, we have quite large milk resource and wool, fabric resource, and also the hide skin, which are unused due to the low level of processing. So according to the results of RCA in English, this table shows the potential products, and it's very hard to see because of the small font. So we select the 4-digit products from the International Trade Center data. So it includes the wool, animal hair, horse hair, urine, and fabric. So Kashmir is very high results, but others are still far greater than 1. So which means we have more potential on this area, for instance, wool and the rest of wool. So which we are not really using at the moment. Then articles of apparel, raw hide and skins, animal origin, and meat and edible meat. So we highlighted only 2 because there are such a number of products we have potential to export, but we are only exporting 2 of them. We are only earning the benefiting from 2 of them. So from here we have more opportunity to increase the income of the sector and also income of the workers. So for conclusion, it's within that those livestock products in our country have more comparative advantage. If we increase the number of products and if we used to use the unused resources of the sector, then in these regards we need to support the export of livestock-oriented products, but we need to consider also the animal health issue and also international trade requirements, trade partners requirements, and also when we considering the export of the products, important things is traceability issues and also the animal disease. And productivity of livestock is also important to consider, and rental carrying capacity would be regulated by the community or state in a certain extent. This is short for today. Thank you very much for your patience. If you have questions.
Thank you very much. Right on time. Even before time. Yeah. So please welcome me if you have any question.
Would you go back to your 2 slides, I think? There. So what is happening to everything in between cashmere and the horse meat? What is being done with those items?
Okay. I highlight just these 2 because these are more potential. Recently we are more successful for exporting these 2 products. But we still can export other articles.
But so, are not.
Yeah.
You're not. So what is being done with those?
Yes. For instance, for the wool, sheep wool, it's mainly because of the remoteness. Because of the wide territory. It's very difficult to transport the wool into the central market. On one hand, it's a kind of the logistical things and also the transaction costs. So on one hand, on the other hand, we don't have the processing small-scale factories in the rural area, remote area. So we have potential to export them, but at the moment we don't have any infrastructure or any.
I guess I'm wondering when they shear the sheep, do they just leave the wool? So that's what I'm.
Yes.
Is that what they're just leaving it?